Welcome to the Pixel Scouters podcast, where we speak with gaming content creators, esports enthusiasts, and industry experts to give you a behind-the-scenes look at the gaming industry, so that you can learn to build and engage with your own community, produce top-tier gaming content, and carve out a career in the gaming industry.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Pixel Scouters. I'm your host, Pat O'Reilly, alongside Rob Green as always. How you doing, Rob?
Doing well. Good to see you, Pat. And we are
Good to see you too.
with Kevin Truong. Am I butchering your last name? Am I saying it Truong? Am I saying it Truong?
Let's just chop that name up into 1,000 little pieces.
No, that's actually bang on. But I always say Truong, which is not how you say it, because
That's
people
how I would
always
say,
misspell
yeah.
it. Like I remember Bell had my last name spelled like our Bell telecom server. They have my last name still spelled wrong. I just don't get emails. I don't get my bills. I've told them it's U before the O. But anyways, that intro was super sensual.
You gotta feel it. Get in the groove. Feel the pixels all inside you, you know? People think it's string theory. They're wrong. It's pixel theory. We're all made of pixels.
Yo, okay.
Taking it to another level.
Prove me wrong.
Every idea is valid. Wow, look at that overlay, guys. Oh, isn't that a sexy overlay?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm not a designer, but I'll give my...
Speaking of sexy overlays, I think that the Quest to Conquer Cancer website is very nice, just from a user perspective.
Hey man, thank you, because a lot of thought went into it. Art perspective, I've always wanted the being able to tell the story of the battle against cancer with beautiful art, and so that's why we have that sprite, we have the environment. The sprite doesn't have an identity. You can't see a gender, can't see a face, because anyone's affected by cancer. And the thinking was having the sprite in different environments, because in the environments being this like crazy in all these different challenges or like storms, and that be a metaphor for all the different challenges against cancer. And I kind of wanted like this light in the background as hope. Anyways, this is me kind of going to like this creative hole.
Go.
Just keep going.
But it's one of those things where, all right, we're building this campaign from scratch. I gotta get the wheels in the car before I think about all this art. And so, hey, we got the art. The art was looking cool, but the UX was kind of lacking. Like, are people actually? They're just going through because it looks nice, but are they actually doing what we want them to do?
Hold on. UX user experience?
Yeah, in terms of like, hey, you read through, all right, this makes sense. It takes you to this part. You actually register. You actually go. I think we missed the ball on that because we're so focused on the art.
I don't know. I found it great. I also found that I didn't care if I clicked somewhere wrong, because I just wanted to see more of the art and more.
Hey,
I was just happy to be there.
I'm so happy, because that was the thinking, and sometimes it's hard to pitch to like leadership or trying to get budgets. Like, trust me, it's gonna be good, and people are gonna like it, and it's gonna show the gaming communities that we understand them, because obviously art's a big influence in terms of a lot of gamers. But anyways, for this year, we're taking it to the next level. That's got some whole design team working on something really cool. So,
and from my experience,
before we dive into that, go ahead, Rob.
I was just gonna say, from my experience with UX, you always start with like a baseline, and it could be the most well-researched user experience, wireframe journey ever, with all of the like things that you're supposed to do. But until it actually rubber hits the road and people start using it, you never know what the outcome will be. And you're going to have to always make corrections. Always. It never stops. And so it's totally fine that your website isn't where you want it to be from a UX standpoint. It will never be where you want it to be. Like, trust me, this hits home for me. My website is not where I want it to be. I look at it and I just cringe every day. But it's a process, man. So
disagree. I also love Rob's website. It's fantastic.
Yeah, your website is fantastic.
Thank you. It can be better. It can just be better. And there's so many things.
That's the crux of it there. That you always want to make it even better, right?
Mm-hmm, totally.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that I'm reading Steve Jobs' book as well, and how much of he's a perfectionist, and it just like triggers me even more. I'm like, Steve wouldn't do this,
Dude. Did you hear about that?
Shit.
Did you hear about that awesome Steve Jobs story about the iPhone when it was still in product development? So this team of like the presenters come into Steve Jobs' office, and they're like, "Okay, man, like what you're asking us to do with the iPhone is impossible. Look, like this is as small as it's gonna get, and it's like fucking, this big. It's like the size of what an iPad is today." And he like he had a notoriously vivid temper, and so instead of like the natural anger that he showed, he like grabbed the prototype, went over, and I guess there's a fish tank, dropped it in the water, and a bunch of air bubbles started coming up. And he goes, "You see that? That's air. That's space. Make it smaller."
I love it.
And that's so like I mean, that would never fly in today's world, but anyway, it just like being a genius, you're on a different spectrum, obviously. But anyways, he was the one that started doing all those curves on the rectangles, and man, it's funny because I use Apple as an analogy so when it comes to giving the streamers everything they need for their fundraisers, so the overlays, the alerts, that's like tech. And it's like when you don't have beautiful art and design as like an overlay and skin, like you're missing the mark. At the end of the day, these streams are their shows, like charity streams are shows. You can give them great tech, but if you're not giving them good, nice overlays and things that enhance their show, it's a missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's a huge part of the UX, if you will. I'm trying out this term for the first time. And the audience, like if the high quality atmosphere like that would come with a nice overlay, it does add to the audience experience. AX.
Oh, I think so.
The AX. AX body spray.
Oh no,
minty fresh.
Okay, so before we go any further, I wanna reel it back because we probably have some listeners that have no idea what the Quest to Conquer Cancer is.
Or who you are, even. Like, why are we talking to you about it?
Give us a rundown.
What's your official
my name
title
is-
on LinkedIn?
It's head of Esports and Gaming of the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation. So,
Pretty sick title.
I mean, it's a dream job.
When you took your job, did
Do you
you
have a
get
name
to
plaque or whatever? Do you have a thing?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the office. We don't go to the office anymore, but I do have a name tag and I have a business card. One of those.
Did you get to
draconian things?
Did you get to write in your own job title? Like, how did that conversation go?
Oh my gosh, yeah, because it's funny because when they first gave me the title, they had like a dash with the E, like the E dash.
Oh,
sports.
no!
I'm gonna lose all my credibility.
yeah, I'm gonna lose all my credibility. We gotta fix this.
Destroy these.
We have to fix
These
this.
may never see the
Where's
light
the
of day.
shredder? Put it through 3 times. Burn it.
Did you just take them and put them in the fish tank?
No, but it's funny because it's every one of the foundation and the leaders call it the e-gaming division because our biggest gaming division is our lottery, which is gaming. So we took e-gaming. I was like, okay, fair.
Yeah, like the Games Commission isn't anything to do with video games. It's gambling.
Yep.
So
And it makes us the most money out of all of our events.
So you're the head of esports and gaming
Yep.
at the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation. That is your title. Has nothing to do with gambling.
No, nothing to do with gambling. No.
Okay. And so what does it mean?
So when they hired me, my job is to lead their venture into the gaming space, to build the gaming division. And what that means by that is like, how do we fundraise? Like, let me take a step back.
Yeah.
Like, to provide some context.
Yes.
Obviously, the gaming industry is growing. What's happening is there's massive shifts happening to how people consume media, how people spend their time, how people make money, but also how people fundraise. Seeing that, my job is to help Princess Margaret come into this space and capture that opportunity. Capture is probably the wrong word because we're a charity, but just there's an opportunity there and I'm going to help them get that. And why is it so important in terms of helping us in achieving our mission, which is conquering cancer in our lifetime? It's because it's innovating how we raise money. So diversifying away from physical events, which every single one of our physical events was canceled this past year. It's helping us build global brand awareness. Like what we do is global, but people don't know who we are outside of Canada if you're not in the cancer world. And lastly, it's engaging in a completely new demographic that we've never engaged before. 95% of the money that we raise, which is hundreds of millions, is from the GTA and it's from the people over 50 years old. So that's the opportunity that this presented. I mean, that's what I showed them kind of coming into this, to showing them the opportunity of the gaming for the long term. This isn't like a come in, do something in the gaming space, make some money. No, this is part of the strategy of Princess Margaret for the long term. So that's my job.
Yeah, that's so that's what that means. Great. It sounds like, just a small mountain to climb, I guess. Like, no.
Oh, it's been an amazing ride. Definitely a roller coaster. Tons of obstacles everywhere you go. But last year was our launch year, which obviously, Rob, you and your company and were a part of, which was, thank you. But we raised $400,000. 85% of the money coming in was from outside of Canada, and 99% was from completely net new donors. So it was an amazing launch year. Yeah, it was phenomenal. And again, this is just the first year. Like, this is a year we just want to come into space, begin to establish ourselves. Sorry, I'm like burping.
Yeah, you're all good. You're all good, dude. You're all good. So, but let me give you like a breather here. So, Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation has some of the biggest fundraising events in Canada and even globally. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, our lottery is, it's either the biggest in the world or I think it's the biggest in the world. I don't remember for sure. Our Ride to Conquer Cancer is the biggest bike ride in Canada. Don't know where it stacks up in North America. Our road hockey is
post
like
all that in the comments, right?
yeah. Dude, is it like Joe Rogan where we have a fact checker just on the side?
We don't have a Jamie, but I sometimes I can yell at my wife and say,
I would love that.
Wait up!
Yeah.
Mom, meatloaf.
But yeah, so anyways, we're known for our mega fundraisers. Yeah.
So
was it a question?
Yeah. So I mean, I was just trying to give people a sense of like how established Princess Margaret is, and like the lottery, I had no idea was as big as it actually is. But the lottery isn't like, it's not a traditional lottery. It's not, spend $10 and get a chance to win $1 million. It's like you have a house lottery, right? And like you buy $100, it gives you 3 entry tickets, and you have a chance to win like a gorgeous like 8,000 square foot house. Or
it's like super luxury homes, cars. There's a ton of different prizes, and I mean, it just brings in so much money for the foundation. And I didn't even talk about like in Princess Margaret. Yes, our fundraisers are massive, but we're our top 5 cancer research center in the world, and that's why, I mean, this year I think that played a big role in why we were able to get so much global support. I mean, one of the things was, yeah, we're Canadian, but because we're Canadian, our healthcare is funded, meaning that when you donate, we're not paying for treatment, it's going to research, and our research is making like a big impact. So
that's awesome.
Amazing.
How did you have a background in fundraising and non-for-profit work, charitable work, or like or a background in gaming? Like, how did you get involved with this? What's your working career history?
Yeah, this was serendipitous. So I went to school for business, and then I went to private healthcare. It's healthcare. It's private, but not technically private. It's just preventative healthcare. And because preventative healthcare you pay for in Canada, technically people call it private. So that was like my main job. But I was always working on. I've been a gamer my entire life. My side gig was working with. So I was working with the University of Toronto with their League of Legends team. So they're one of the best League of Legends team in the collegiate world. And so I was providing mental performance coaching for them. I was doing performance coaching for traditional athletes. I was working with some of the biggest wrestlers, rugby players, and from a junior level. But I just saw a big gap in the gaming space of players who are trying to get better, just didn't even understand the basics of performance. Like, whoa, they weren't sleeping, they weren't eating properly. It's just the basics. So that was always my side gig.
So this is being a performance coach. Is this similar to like a life coach kind of in some ways? Like, you're not just touching on their gaming performance, you're touching on like how they're doing in all aspects of life.
So with traditional athletes, it was more from a mentorship and life coaching perspective, but that goes hand in hand with performance coaching in my mind. If you can't take care of yourself holistically and you just expect yourself to be able to perform into high performance when you're competing, like, to me, it's hand in hand. And even from like working with the gamers, you guys don't even you don't even worry about performance right now. You guys aren't even taking care of yourselves. So anyway, so that was the thing.
What kind of things were you like? Oh, you gotta do your laundry, get outside, cook some food.
Honestly, like a lot of esports teams are, especially when the investments started coming to esports from traditional sports, they're investing in these like compounds where they're referring to them as like athletes, right? Where they need to be at peak physical performance so that mechanically their reaction time, their endurance with their like, the muscles that are specific to their craft are functioning at the highest possible level. Like gone are the days where you're seeing that like South Park World of Warcraft neckbeard, sitting here like that. You remember that guy, that amazing BlizzCon cosplay? Gone are those days as so a professional esports like competitor. You're still going to have the exceptions to the rule, but I think increasingly organizations that are bringing up players to be competitors are thinking about the holistic approach with diet, with exercise, with like work-life balance, finance, education is a part of it, everything that you just mentioned as well.
Everything. And then once you get that foundation right, you can start thinking about how do you like. So when I was working with U of T, they always lost to a Western university. Western was one of the best. And when I asked them, are you guys better than Western? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, if you played your best and they didn't play their best, could you beat them? They're like, yes. Okay, so how do we get you guys playing your best more often than not? Like that's simply put. And then I ask them, in terms of how often, like how many hours of sleep do you, like. There was times where they were doing scrimmages or having games, and they didn't even sleep the night before because they're leaving their homework to the last minute, and they need to do that beforehand. So I'm like, if you guys really want to take this serious and you really want to become pros, like you guys are saying, you're already putting yourself at a disadvantage. You're already showing me you don't care. And so anyway, so that was an amazing stint. And so what that did for my career was show people within my network that I was into gaming. People didn't know I was a gamer. People didn't know that this is the kind of stuff I was doing until I was kind of posting about it and sharing about it. Princess Margaret, I was supporting Princess Margaret long before I even went there. I was doing their ride to conquer cancer, so I've done their ride 5 times, and I was leading my company team. Every year I would go around recruiting people for my company. Together we've raised over hundreds of thousands from our specific company for Princess Margaret. And so when Princess Margaret was doing their search, a bunch of people from my own company found it before I even did. And they're like, Kev, this looks like the perfect role for you. And I was like, nice. When I read the job description, I'm like, it looks like I wrote this for myself. Like, what is
that's awesome. That's the best. It's like, and that's that word serendipitous, right? Like you found it and it was as if you wrote it for yourself. So it was a no-brainer, I guess, like that they hired you. You're clearly a perfect match and perfect fit for the role, and what you've accomplished in the first year is really commendable. Like it is really, you should feel proud of yourself for what you've done. And I know you didn't do it on your own, so I'm not trying to give you all the credit, but
yeah, I don't.
I know that like you've explained it to me a couple of times of like jumping out a plane and like trying to make the parachute on the way down, or
building the plane as you're flying it.
Oh yeah, that's a little less morbid. Okay,
it sounds like a dream that I've had.
Maybe that's how I describe entrepreneurship. Yeah, but I mean, you've described it as like high intensity, high anxiety, high pressure, and I know in those situations, because I do it myself, it's hard to like take a minute, pause, and like look back and just reflect on like what you achieved and like the milestones that you hit. And I think what you guys are doing is amazing. I'm a huge supporter. I believe in the cause. I think your mission, which you said and kind of glazed by, is something that's like worth repeating, which is to conquer cancer within our lifetimes. Like that is no small mountain to climb.
Yeah, and that's an amazing goal.
And if there was ever a worthy goal to achieve, right?
Yeah, and something I should highlight more often is the progress that we've made collectively, not just Princess Margaret. We know we can't do this on our own. That's why we have a collective with facilities from all around the world. But it's like the average cancer survival rate used to be 20%. We're up at 65% now, and it's like that's over several decades. But it's like we're moving in the right direction. That's for sure. I mean, so and there's times where you just feel like cancer is just this black hole of money sucking. No, even when COVID hit, we repurpose all of our facilities to help with the development for COVID. It's like these are research facilities. We just happen to focus on cancer, but hypothetically, we solve cancer one day. There's other shit to do. Like we don't. It's not like people. Oh, you solve cancer, we lose our jobs. No, there's always something. No. There's so many causes out there.
Other things. Yeah,
and so
it's a really great
CF or Parkinson's or you name it, right?
It's a really great point that you like touched on, though, that a lot of people glaze over as well, which is like they'll justify not donating to something because they're like, oh, charities, like, none of the money you donate really goes to the cause. It's always like bloat, right? And it's always just so. I mean, I'm not as well versed in the charity world. You get to see behind the curtain. And I'm sure you're aware of like some horror stories or some like there are probably case studies of like the best in class globally of charities that like most of the money goes to the cause, and worst in class where it's like this is barely a charity, and like to call it that is an insult to what you do. Like, what can you tell us about?
Yeah, and you don't have to throw anyone under the bus.
No.
You don't have to name names.
I won't throw anyone under the bus, but that's. I remember after raising money for Princess Margaret, at my last company, someone was like, "I didn't know 100% of my money didn't go towards like the cause and all that." Like, they have to pay people.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
It's a little naive.
There has to be some overhead.
It's a little naive.
No way around that.
And the CRA actually, there's gold standards and whatnot for return to charities, but at the end of the day, how do we maximize every dollar that comes in and multiply it? If you just relied on donations and people are just volunteers, that would run out. It's like I've done rides for other cancer things before, and it's like the experience wasn't as good as the Ride to Conquer Cancer. Obviously, the Ride to Conquer Cancer was this massive experience. It's clear money went into this, but it created this phenomenal experience of like fundraising and being with people, and you just couldn't explain it. And it's something I want to do every single year. I want to keep raising money for them, but also keep experiencing this magical thing.
It's a great point.
To give you a number of like how we measure it as well is we measure how effective each employee is. And so for us, every employee is worth, it's per employee, it's like $1.35 million. So every time we hire someone, we know, and it's like even if you're working in finance, you're not directly fundraising for us, but you're part of like you're helping making this engine run, and so that's how we kind of divvy it up. So honestly, so the easy math, have to invest to make money.
So the easy math there is like basically your total, revenue that you generate divided by your head count, and I guess your other expenses gives you your revenue per employee, right? That's like kind of like your benchmark.
That would make sense to me, but I don't want to say that's exactly how
no, but I mean, I know what you're talking about, and I know it's like forefront because like when we've talked about stuff that we've worked together on Quest, it's like those are the types of conversations we're having. It's like, how do we make sure that Fanfic Gaming did the merchandise in 2020 for the donors that hit certain levels with Quest to Conquer Cancer. And Kevin and I were having conversations when we were coming up with the packages, like how do we get the best products within a budget that still is like super generous for the charity, so that most of the money goes towards the charity, but so that there's still like an appreciation gift that's a badge of honor that you get for reaching a benchmark. And you kind of touched on that with the Ride to Conquer Cancer, and I think that's like, it is super interesting how you kind of have to make charity sexy, and it's not. Donating money in and of itself, if that's all any charity was just a donate here button, nobody would do it, or people would do it minimally. But if you make it really fun and community driven and engaging, like the Ride to Conquer Cancer, where you get together with teams of 4, or is it 4 or 5 people?
We had a team of 25.
Team of
25. Scotiabank had like 45 people. So it's fun because you and your employees, your colleagues, y'all go do this treacherous 220 kilometer bike ride together. Y'all camp together, but it's like special, It's just
it's a huge bonding experience. And sometimes the company that you do it with your coworkers sometimes, and the company that you work for will actually kick in with you, and it's like it creates a huge bonding experience.
That's awesome.
It's totally great. And to find a way to do that outside of in-person events and for the generation of like gamers and esports and like, you know, basically our demographic is also really interesting and a cool challenge to like. So what did you guys, what was your philosophy? What was your approach with Quest in how you were going to accomplish that same community theme but applied to gaming?
And did
Yeah,
you,
so
before you even answer that, did they
yeah,
already have a plan laid out, or did they just have a blank piece of paper and they're saying, "Can
it was a
can you
blank
write
piece of
something on
paper.
this?"
I actually had to do some scrubbing because they had some stuff, and I'm like, we gotta get rid of this. And so,
E-sports?
um,
Yeah.
So did you immediately just write down the word streamers? Let's hop on that right away.
no, I have to show them all the options and why this is the best option. So when you think about how massive the gaming space is, you can raise money via ticket sales, you can do in-game skins, you can do tournaments, streamers. Yeah. The reason we chose streamers was because it taps into peer-to-peer fundraising. Like, it's when you think about someone who does peer-to-peer fundraising, they're inspired to raise for money for a cause they believe in. They tap into their network to support them. When it comes to streamers, they have an audience, they have a massive community, and how they're actually fundraising is more unique than any other way, because of the technology, because they're doing it via live stream. So when someone donates, you have this live alert pop up. It's like, oh wow, Johnny, thank you so much for your $30 donation, or thank you, Sally, for the $500 donation. I have to drop my gun now in my game. Wow, it's just like this whole interactive experience you would get nowhere else.
That's right. It's already a big donation culture that exists in the streaming world. That is their source of income. It's all donation.
It's already happening. And so you're meeting the gamers where they are. And coming back to what Rob was talking about, community, when building the strategic plan, like I have this house I drew with like how everything kind of funnels in, but the center of it is the community. And what I mean by that is like what makes up the community. You have your teams, you have your really big streamers who we call champions, but you also have your grassroots. They all play a role. How do we support everyone in this, in this system? And so that being the core, the building blocks that make that up, it's like, how do we actually serve them? Because once you understand who they are, you need to know how to serve them. So that being the technology, that being the brand artwork and design, it being the strategic processes, it being the people in the right spots to even build something. And so that's like, I'm just trying to visualize a house. Great. From there, once you kind of have that, you can start engaging sponsors, because once you have a community, sponsors want to get involved. And from there, we use events to rally everyone together. So we had 2 events last year. We're having 2 events again this year. We rally everyone together. We fundraise. That's kind of how, like, that's the North Star. So how we do that now you're getting into like all the details of how we build that community.
Which we don't need to do. Like, and I don't want to get into that today with you, because I know that's your day to day. And like, honestly, I've had a couple of beers. Let's just chill out a little bit with the work talk. You know,
I'm like drooling because of beer. I feel like I'm trying to like.
I thought you were drooling because of that loaf of bread I have in the oven there.
Yo.
That's why I left for a minute. I had to take the lid off, turn the temperature down. We're halfway through.
But I will say, Kevin, like, honestly, it's really clear to anybody who listens to you talk about this, Pat, I don't know if you'd agree, that you're incredibly passionate about what you do.
That is the word, definitely, hands down.
Like I feel insecure.
And I admire that a lot.
Yeah, I feel insecure about what I'm doing with my life because of how passionate you are about what you're doing. And I love what I do.
you know what's funny? When I was talking to Nick A30, he's like obviously the big streamer, and I was talking to him and his team was like, I've never met someone more passionate than Nick. Anyways, I feel like it's my superpower because it gives me energy, but at the same time, it's my kryptonite because I feel like because I love it so much, I'm never stopping. I feel like that's how burnout happens. So
yeah.
Well,
it's constantly fueling you too. So maybe you just found the magic elixir right there.
It may be.
So that's it. You know, you used to do life coaching and professional coaching for competitors. You recognize that burnout's a possibility. What kind of things are you doing for your work-life balance when you're not working, or when you're working so hard? What are you doing on the other end of the spectrum to just chill and relax?
You know what? Ever since COVID, it's flipped everything upside down. Like all my habits and my routines. Like I was very structured before. Wake up early, do my reading, make sure I have my workouts, eating well. It was just everything that I taught, preached, I did myself. And then when COVID happens, like, I'm trying to do home workouts. Can't do homework. I've got cat hair on the ground, like cat poop. Just like couldn't get into that. And it's like I had to when even eating. Eating, I've always been good with kind of eating because I like making my own food and whatnot. But even in terms of taking breaks, like when I'm telling people, you take breaks. Like people who say they don't have time to take breaks, no, you take breaks because it makes the other time you have more effective. Like that's that's how it works.
Prove it.
But when your actual meeting, your calendar is just blocked up and it's not, and you're just going back to back. It's like what I've done recently is proactively put a lunch block in every single day so nobody can touch that time. And it's like, if I have to use it, I'll use it. But I've been getting better at it. I mean, the fact that, and then obviously Rob knows, like our stay-at-home order, we just didn't, you don't have those things that you typically do to recharge yourself. So the only thing I'm doing often that I always feel recharges me is reading. Like I love reading educational books. It's just something that gets me going because as soon as I read something like, oh, yo, I can use this. It's like, for me, it's like Harry Potter. You like read like a little spell book and you can just use it.
That's cool.
And I just
give us a couple books that you've read this past year that have really impacted you.
Right now I'm reading 2 books. I'm reading Bob Iger's book. I actually don't even know the title of it. It's like right here.
Who's Bob Iger?
He's the CEO of Disney.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I thought that Mickey was honestly.
Is it called
Inside
Inside the Magic Kingdom? Because I have that book right here and it's about Disney.
Oh no, it's called A Ride of a Lifetime.
Ride of a Lifetime.
So this one's I highly recommend, especially if you're creative, because it's like blending the whole creative world and business world. It's phenomenal, really inspiring. I started Bill Gates.
Sure
I just got Bill Gates'
like
book.
He's a creative or not.
Dude,
creative.
I don't know what just happened. I zoned out because I wrote down the name of that book. But I just like want to talk about how amazing Disney is for a second. I know a lot of people will like shit on Disney as a company or whatever, but this is how amazing Disney. Here's why. Yeah, totally why. Here's the stat on the Disney theme park. If you go to the Disney theme park once, there's an 85% chance you go 4 times.
No way. What?
And when you talk about loyalty and community and like, you know, that type of stuff, like they are doing it right. And I'm sure, like, how far into that book are you?
I'm halfway through this one.
Do they talk about any of that stuff?
No, right now it's more of the beginning of it, like him being the head of ABC and how he even got to Disney. So it's not there yet, but I assume it would get there.
Got it.
But I love just reading biography, like especially like biographies of some of the most powerful people in the world, because it's like they're literally sharing with you everything they've learned inside of a book, and there's something that we didn't have access to way back when, you know. So doing that. Another book I just started was Bill Gates' book. I can't remember the titles. It's about global warming. It's like the plan. Oh yes, how to avoid. I never read the title. I just go right into it. But how to avoid a climate disaster. A, I just want to read about it because it's something I'm into. But B is why I really like this book is because he's taking something very complicated and breaking it down into a very like a very easy to understand plan. And the way he talks about it, like it's like wow, like when you learn that kind of language, you can bring that into the work. I mean, especially the work I do, where everything's kind of, I'm always trying to find the right words to explain something. But yeah, those are the 2 books I'm reading right now.
Do you?
And I'm listening to Steve Jobs.
So you do audiobooks as well?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I do them all.
Do you find like, so I enjoy reading those like nonfiction, personal development, like kind of work books, but I find that I need to break it up with just a pure leisure, like give me my sci-fi, give me my fantasy, you know, I just need to do it. I need to mix it up. I can't do all work all the time, all
I tend to keep myself on like a regiment where I go, you know, one fantasy, a sci-fi, like a true something real, okay, right?
Yeah.
And then I also try and grab something really old, like something that's considered a classic, and work my way through a long list of those. And then we cycle back around.
So biographies are that for me. Like the book that I was reading before this was Eric Ries. Holy crap, The Pivot. Who's
Eric Ries?
Start at Zero. He's the guy who came up with the word the pivot. Anyways, I don't know why I can't remember the title of the book, but anyways, I just finished that one. It was phenomenal. That I used that to help me rebuild the plan for Quest this year. I love biographies. I don't think I've gotten into fiction because I don't think I've ever like got a good recommendation for fiction books. So I mean, it's not that I don't like it. I just don't have. I haven't gotten into it yet.
You're talking
we can talk. We'll talk after.
You're talking to two of the right people. Let's talk now about fiction. Pat has given me some of the best fiction recommendations ever. So
okay,
Pat, take
and
it
Rob
away.
sent a couple of amazing ones my way as well. I've loved all his recos.
Take it away, Pat. Like, I think there's some questions you need to ask to get. You got to understand,
Yes.
Pat is probably one of the most well-read people I know.
I read a lot.
okay.
But I also listen to a lot now too. I get lazy with the audiobooks. I'm like,
Dude, your eyeballs
they've
get
gotten
tired.
so
It's okay.
good. People are dramatically reading them to me, and sometimes there's a bit of music. and,
Multiple
sometimes
voice
they'll have
actors.
they'll have two voice actors, and I'm like, can my brain even compete with this? There are two different categories. Reading, it's great to do both. Okay, so what I would ask first are things like do you feel like you're more interested? You probably watch some TV shows. Do you feel like you're more interested in the sci-fi realm of things or the fantasy realm of things, or also potentially neither?
Oh, I love both. I absolutely love
Okay.
both. I think I skew towards a sci-fi.
Sure, no problem there.
But
Okay.
I like both.
And is there certain elements of sci-fi that definitely get you more excited than others? Like, do you want to see them in space? Is that a priority, or
Aliens,
is it more about
robots.
are robots a priority, or is all of this just like any of this is welcome as long as it's really well written?
That's it. I just like really well written stuff. Things I've been really into are like apocalyptic kind of shit. Like the world just like the future of the world, either robots have taken over, or I was watching the show Dark. I don't know if you watch Dark. It's the German show, but it's in the future and the world's messed up because of like a nuclear bomb, but it has everything to do with like time travel and stuff. Anyways, I'm into all that shit. So
Interesting. Okay. Right off the bat, I mean, this is probably my first sci-fi reco to almost anybody because I can't ever find anything wrong with it. Isaac Asimov. He is the king. He's the best. He's amazing.
And
you could literally pick any book, but there's the Foundation trilogy is sort of his like crowning glory.
And even just short stories, like if you just want to take a 15, half an hour read, I think the one's called The Last Question, something like that.
Isaac Asimov.
Have you read that one, Patty?
If it's in like a collection of short stories, I think I feel like I've exhausted his stuff. Although sometimes things do crop up, and I'm like, oh, what is this? A new one.
Wait, so which one would you recommend? And by the way, I love well-written stuff because, especially, I feel like in today's world, like we're losing. I feel like we don't write well. I mean, just in general, like when it comes to, like tweets and the social media and stuff, it's just like. I just feel like I'm losing it, and I forget one of my favorite quotes.
We talk in emotes now.
Actually, I have something to add after that in 1 second, but it was I heard this quote was like language is the limit to your world, and I just loved it, and it's like and that's. Anyways,
that's what.
emote.
And I'm gonna let you take that out. I love that. There's a Radio Lab episode that I listened to about this group of
great pod.
Yeah, this group of people that had there's some sort of neurological or mental developmental disorder that prevented them from essentially you and I and most people when we develop like our neurologically, we can identify that things have names. Like 4 legs and a seat and then a back, that's a chair. And like a piece of wood with a doorknob, that's a door. And so this specific condition, they don't have the ability to do that, and they're they're not mute, but they're not dumb, but they're very close. Okay, and the interesting
because they can't name anything. It'd be very difficult to communicate.
So how do you think about things? And so there's in this Radio Lab episode, there's
abstract concepts.
Exactly. Yeah. So in this Radio Lab episode, they talked to people that had this condition and then came out of this condition, and they are asked to describe what it was like living like that, and they kind of all describe it in the same general vague term, which is like the bad times, the before. They don't even have a word for it. And it's an exact analogy, or like, line to what you just said, like language is the limit to your world.
Yeah, it's from Ludwig Wittgenstein. I always forget his name. I just love the quote. I always forget his name, but
I love that.
And yeah, that's why when you read something and it's like beautiful language, you're like damn, like I want to. How do I get this into my vernacular? Like, how do I start talking like this?
But there is some stuff that, like, for me, Pat, the classics, I just can't, man. It's just
man,
like
some of them are tough reads. There's definitely ones I have not enjoyed.
Okay, give me your favorite so I don't get turned off from the wrong
the classic? Gulliver's Travels is actually really good.
Gulliver's Travels?
Yeah.
Gulliver's Travels. Okay, right there.
That's the classic one with the Lilliputians, and the little guys tying him down on the beach.
Is The Alchemist considered a classic?
Probably.
It's not. It's
I
not like
really enjoyed The Alchemist. The Alchemist,
Paulo Coelho?
fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that book.
I don't know if it's
not
super
it's not
duper
old,
but
yeah, it's not old enough to be. It's not like an Odyssey or like Ulysses.
Like Moby Dick, for example. Moby Dick has a couple parts that are a bit of a grind. But I read it while I was whale watching for a month at sea.
Oh,
so
that's
I was
so
like,
cool.
I also had a lot of time.
when I was in Morocco, I was reading Never Split the Difference. It's a negotiation book. Yeah, fantastic book. And I'm reading through it, and literally the tactics and techniques you use to negotiate, Moroccans are using me on the street to sell me stuff.
Yes.
I honestly
love it.
I've often thought this. I don't know if you have had this experience when you've been traveling, but when you go to like markets and other places in the world, people are fucking hustling, man. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, they're working hard and they are trying to sell. And it's like, I kind of like wish that I had that work ethic, because they're in and out every day, just they're grinding, right?
It's not in me.
Yeah,
it's not in me.
You know what? And it's
a special person.
There's, in my mind, this was coming back to some of the mentorship stuff I was doing with traditional athletes, in terms of like, how do you find your why so that you can like feel yourself. Like when we came to Canada, my dad was working at a factory like 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and like this crazy. Why though? Like, why was he? Like, he was happy. He kept going as normal. Why? Because he was providing a future for us. Like, it's like the alternative was what we came from, and so I guess not being why they hustle so much, but is it because you don't know enough to know that this is, that you can have a better is the wrong word, because a lot of these people look happy,
different,
but it's like, if you knew more, like, would you be unhappy? If you knew what you're missing out on and what other kids were having, like, would you be more unhappy? Now we're kind of getting philosophical, but
I think we're just soft. We're complacent. We have a really cushy life. I ordered Uber Eats.
That's part of it too. Yeah.
I ordered Uber Eats today, and like, I didn't have to make the food. I didn't have to worry about where the food, or if I had money to pay for the food. It was, and I could like watch TV and I could play a video game later, and like, it's just, we're soft, right? Like, I think that's literally what it comes down to. We have a really privileged life, and that has made us super soft. Other people don't have running water or independent running water. They might have a well that they need to share, or showers or toilets they need to share from, or they might have to have like communal food, or or electricity, maybe intermittent brownouts. Like, there's just a variety of, they certainly don't necessarily have Netflix, Crave, Disney Plus, HBO, like, you name it.
Yeah, they don't have podcasts coming into their ears for free right now. And they certainly don't all have people on Twitch, basically performing for them.
Like, like I feel like a little bit like we're like Neo, like plugged into the Matrix, like we're getting we're getting plugged in ever so slowly. And it makes us a little bit soft. Not that there's anything better or worse about one way versus the other. Like, I really admire the work ethic and the sales tactics that those people use. And like, I just have acknowledged when I travel and I come across that I want more of that for myself. Like that independent hustle.
Rob's got a lot of hustle. He just wants more.
Rob already has a lot of hustle.
Kev, I feel like you got a lot of hustle too. Do you find that you have to like, are you hustling to get people to join, like to get streamers to join you, or are they just storming down your door?
They definitely ain't storming down our door. But I'm hustling to find people, and once you find them, they're awesome. They just need more support. And I mean, during the marathon last year, it was like, all right, throughout the entire day, you're just making sure it's all like your day-to-day ops, but at nighttime is where all your creators want to work with you, and that's their schedule. Like at 10 o'clock, all right, can you help me set it up? Sure. Just like 1 o'clock, sure.
Yeah, random times. Yeah.
So just understanding that once you get to that critical mass, that people will, as long as when people do come in, you have the systems in place where it is self-served, it is kind of self-intuitive, like it is intuitive how it works, but that they do feel part of the community. So they come to Discord, we have community leaders. There's right now, there's a lot of hustle. And then when I talk to other charities, the charity needs to build a direct relationship with the streamers for this to be successful in the long term. And to do that, it's a fucking grind. It's like you love it. You actually have to love it, or you're not going to make it. So,
right. But you're right. No streamer. You said earlier, no streamer too big or too small, because you guys have, I believe it's like a no minimum donation. Anything
no streamer too big or too small, and it's the way the streamer interacts with the audience changes the bigger they get, because it becomes less intimate, and when you get to a certain mass, they become more of an audience, less of the homies that you used to know. We literally had someone, a grassroots, do a charity stream for us last week. 5 concurrent viewers. He was just on his reading break. He raised over $2,000, and it's like,
that's crazy. Really?
That's
yeah, exactly.
Wow,
well done. You never know, and when you show, like, when I talk to our leadership team and we're talking about the strategy, grassroots, why do we focus on grassroots as well? Because you're investing into your future. When you can support the grassroots communities when they're small and become their charity of choice before they're big, you don't have to hustle to get them when they're big. It's like, there's just so many benefits to doing the right thing. I think so.
Now, are you also hustling to find people like Rob and Fanfic Gaming to bring them into the fold with as part of the reward
it's not a
system?
hustle. It's more you're just constantly having conversations, and when you talk with the right person and you click. I mean, like Rob was the first time we met. It was we just hit it off, and it's not that I'm hustling. There's just stuff that we got to do that takes time, and so
I got what you guys are doing. I agree with it. And you're awesome to talk with. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And I was already looking for something like this to do. And I just can't be any
Rob was
more
excited from the moment he started doing anything with you guys. He sent me a link and was like, check this out.
Yeah.
Rob was a godsend. It was like it was so thankful.
It's a reciprocal situation, reciprocal feelings. I feel the same way, but not to bro crush on each other. Like I think what it sounds like your strategy is get the streamers first, build the programming, get the streamers, and then the brands and sponsors will come once there's enough of a groundswell, essentially, right?
Yeah, and you gotta remember, our fundraisers are streamers, or primarily streamers, and streamers are innately influencers. Like that in itself, where them just doing a fundraiser is a form of marketing. It's a form of influencer marketing. And so instead of doing paid ads, which you can do, and it serves a certain amount of purpose, how do you make their experience so good that they just like love it, and then they keep marketing you? And then it's like, again, if you just focus on them, everything else just kind of falls into place.
Do you have a favorite moment in the past? Because you've been with Quest for about a year and a half or a year?
Year and a half, actually almost 2 years, because I was like behind the scenes for a little bit, doing a lot of research and strategy work to plan.
The prep work. So in those 2 years, do you have like a favorite accomplishment or story or moment that you can think of off the top of your head? And if you don't, that's all right.
I mean, meeting Sven.
He's talked to me about Sven. Who's Sven? Tell Pat about Sven.
Yeah.
I've talked to Pat about
tell me. I'm the audience right now.
Yeah, okay. So someone within Sven's community. So Sven is in the Street Fighter community. Someone within his community was doing a grassroots person from Montreal was doing a fundraiser for us. He raised like $3,500. Anyways, he hosted like a Street Fighter tournament, and this Sven was part of it, but I didn't even know who this guy was. I just know that he donated $500 and came second place in this tournament. I was like, holy crap! Like, A, he's really good and he was a fan favorite, and B, he just donated a lot of money to us. So I ended up reaching out to him afterwards, but like, wow, thank you, man. Like, just saw you play, awesome. Was reading up on his bio, and I find out that he's blind. He's a cancer survivor.
Yes.
Like, he survived cancer as a kid, but lost his vision completely, and he plays using purely audio. And I was like, what in the fuck? And then it's just like, ended up meeting this guy.
Incredible, yeah.
Incredible. And he's just the most, he's from Amsterdam. He's not even Canadian, he's from Amsterdam. So he's just the most genuine person. He's just so optimistic about life, and his view on life is so pure, even though he can't see. And it's just, yeah, I mean, that was just incredible to see that we were able to reach someone like him. He was part of Quest, and he shared his story to our foundation. So I brought him into a town hall, and people were just bawling their eyes out. Just after he told us telling his story.
I can imagine.
And by the way, he came second in a Street Fighter tournament, and he's like really good around the global tournaments, right? Like, he's a favorite.
He's beat some of the best in the world. And I remember seeing a YouTube video. So he's just playing like ranked because he's a really high ranked, and he ended up beating was Project X or some Program X, one of the best Street Fighter players in the world. And his audio system reads the name afterwards. So he has a braille system or audio system. He's like, Program X, I beat Program X. And then
that is awesome.
This guy was like ranked 1 at the time.
So cool.
And then obviously it went viral on YouTube, and it's like, nice. You didn't even just beat him, he crushed him. Anyways,
I love that, honestly. And I loved the kind of, you sent me a couple videos about Sven's journey as well. And the first thing, so we work with Capcom, and the first thing that came to my mind, well, one of the first things that came to my mind was just like how amazing the sound design in that video game is for somebody who has zero sight to be able to be competitive and then to be able to win in a global competition. They as a game design publisher just need to, wow. Because anybody who's a fan of fighting games knows that it's like, to be able to block at that level, to be able to, block, parry,
you gotta be
dodge,
frame perfect.
Every single move in the game has a unique sound, and depending on how loud it is how far the person is. That's how he gauges what people are doing.
Oh, and that's cool.
Not only does he play me when I played him as part of this charity thing.
Oh, I bet he dummied you. I bet he dummied
me. He's also a Street Fighter commentator, so he's literally blind, commentating on every single move that's happening immediately as my eyeballs register it. And I'm just like, is this? Cannot believe that.
It's so inspirational too.
It's really cool.
Yeah. But and that's like, I've gotten to meet so many people like that. Obviously, no one like Sven, but that's what I love the most about this program. Probably is just meeting all these different people, different stories, and we're all tied together because we all want to do the same thing. So,
yeah, I guess there's been a little bit less of that because there's, with COVID, we can't have these in-person events anymore.
Yeah,
has that sort of like made what you're doing here with online fundraising that much more important?
It makes it even more important, but it's not immune. Like those physical events like TwitchCon or those things like when you spend all this time in the digital world just interacting with people, and then you meet them at these events and communities, that's when the bond really forms. Like that's how and so when you're talking about community, that's like, you need those physical events. Yeah, the digital world is fantastic, but you need to supplement it at some point. So
100%. And so just like switching gears a little bit, I haven't gotten to ask you really about like the games you're playing and what you're into. I know you got your ass kicked at a fighting game. anybody who's not
But one of the best.
yeah, anybody who's not into fighting games will get their ass kicked at fighting games. It's just they're hard to be good at. So I know
It's so funny. The night before, I was practicing all night. My girlfriend at the time. My girlfriend now. I was like, I'm practicing for tomorrow for work.
And you're still gonna get dragged through the gutters.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who uses that. Elena likes to watch our streams, my wife, and I always say if I'm playing games, I'm doing market research.
It's market research or it's networking. Those are the two.
Totally. Yeah. And I
love it.
I expense it as a business too. If I buy a new game, it's market research. I got to see what's out there.
You know what's funny? People always say, "Why don't you just write it off, Kevin?" I'm like, "Cause I work for a charity. I don't want to write it off."
Yeah, true.
Fuck, you're right. You taking it from the charity then.
So what was like the first game experience that got you into gaming? Were you like PC? Were you Nintendo? Were you what was it?
First system I ever got was a Super Nintendo, and I remember as a kid, and I mean, I wasn't poor, but I also wasn't like super wealthy, but I got a train set. I was like, damn, I got a train set as a kid from Toys R Us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, great, but ended up going back, returning it, and getting a Super Nintendo. So that was like,
trade up. That is the move.
Anyways, that was like
awesome.
my first thing, but the game that really took me into the gaming world, I remember my cousin let me borrow Warcraft, Reign of Chaos, so Warcraft 3. That was my gateway. My computer was shit. I remember it. Like it was. I would just be playing, it would just freeze.
Yeah, man. I remember for that game, we had a shit computer too. It was so bad the graphics card couldn't play the game, and so I just save up $50 and go to the local computer store, and I literally had like change, and I dumped it down, and I was like, can I get that graphics card? It was only $50, and then I had to get my mom to install it for me. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. And then the computer was not happy that I was running Warcraft. It was
Imagine that, but foreign Asian family, not like computer's not running good. All right, we got to open it up and vacuum it. Like that's the kind of thing my dad did. But anyways, like so that was my gateway, and got the Frozen Throne after that. But what really got me was Dota. Like going to the custom games and playing Dota, that just opened up a whole new world. And obviously you're on Ventrilo with all your friends. And anyways,
Dota, like the original Warcraft 3 mod, not Dota 2, the game that's out.
The custom game. In the custom game, yeah, that was good times. Holy.
I remember when my friend showed me Dota, and I kind of like curse the day. Like I love it and I hate it because I look at how many hours I've sunk into that game.
The hours, yeah.
And it's like, oh no.
Those are hours that you've enjoyed so much, though, right?
I mean, anybody who plays a MOBA can't say that. There's so much.
Yeah, because about half of those hours you spent hating it, right?
Yeah, totally.
When World of Warcraft Classic came back out and all my friends were playing it, like, Kevin, why aren't you playing? You love World of Warcraft. I'm like, exactly. That's why I'm not playing it.
Yeah.
That's what, I mean, Pat and I have had this conversation about Valheim recently. It's been
how I've heard
refraining.
Only good things.
That's what we've heard.
Refraining.
Only good things, but I have too much shit to do, so I can't even.
Yeah.
It would be like bye entirety of Sunday gone.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
There are literally days, like, you know, especially during COVID, not so much before, but now during COVID, where I've been like staring at the screen, it's like, and I try to blink and it's like sandpaper because I haven't blinked in hours.
That's why you gotta have these handy dandy little eye sprayers here. I got one
Dude,
right here.
I
You just
actually
spray, open your eye up.
at night when I play games, I actually go put my eye drops in because my eyes are so tired from work.
Fair.
So you got started with Dota, or you got started with Super Nintendo, because kids are ruthless and they don't care if you get them a shitty gift. They'll tell you, "I'm getting this. I'm getting what I want. We're returning this." Yeah, and so after that, you got into Warcraft and then Dota. But you didn't stick with Dota. Now you're into League, from what I understand.
Yeah, so like before I went to university, I was like super into World of Warcraft, Dota, and I obviously played all the consoles. But when I went to the university, I had like that's where I got into sports games, because all like my roommates and everyone at university just plays sports games. So I got into the FIFAs, the 2Ks, and all that. But after my first year, and we moved out of res and my own place, a buddy of mine was playing League of Legends, and I was like, "What the hell is League?" Like, at first, I'm like, "I'm a Dota." Like Dota, you just have pride playing Dota, and you're like, "What is this joke of a game, League of Legends?" And so I ended up making a joke name. So it was in 2012. My name was Big Nuts 2012, because I'm like, never gonna play this game again. I'm just gonna with a Z. That's still my login to this day. I still play the damn game.
That's amazing. I love
Do
that.
you get a lot of positive feedback from your teammates?
When I worked with U of T, I ended up changing the name, because I'm like, I probably should change my name as far as our coach working with them.
Yeah.
Login is still that, because you can't change your login ID. So
That's awesome.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's like everybody's like first Hotmail address. Like mine was playing _with_fire at hotmail.com. I was a badass.
Mine was
watch out.
AZN_kid KIDD.
Nice. I think mine was my favorite player at the time was Curtis Joseph in hockey. So it was Cujo.
Nice.
Possibly 4_31.
Yeah.
Because all the other ones were taken.
It's so I don't know if you know, Kevin, we've got 3 competing MOBA players all on the call right now.
It's true.
I'm a Dota fan.
Hold on, I heard this Heroes.
I'm repping the downtrodden, beaten down, possibly dead, resuscitated, still dead Heroes of the Storm.
Possibly dead. It's definitely dead.
Yeah.
BlizzCon just happened. They didn't even
care.
They pretended like they didn't ever make the game. They didn't even mention it.
I know.
They didn't even
tiny logo.
Oh man, they did
actually in the do you guys know who Carbot is? If you're a fan of Blizzard at all, Carbot does these like cartoon animations.
Yes, that's right.
For all of the Blizzard games, and he's incredible.
It's a great animation.
It's very funny and it's well drawn. You can get the skin. You can use the skins in StarCraft. I think there's a mod where you can play the whole thing as this like cartoon mode, which looks hilarious. Cool. So he's also done a bunch of like videos for Here's the Storm. He did a big composite one for over 30 years of Blizzard or whatever.
Yeah, it's
where it's like every game is melded into one video. Watch it. It's great.
I did watch it. It was
that
awesome.
actually sounds really cool.
It was awesome.
Notice that Heroes of the Storm appeared and then got nuked.
Yeah, they got annihilated. Yep.
Like because he knows.
He gets it. He gets it.
He feels the pain.
So my thing is that we have to get Pat a new game. Like HOTS is just it's not. I
love it so much.
I know you love it, man. I know you do. But there are still people that play Age of Empires 2, and they play with the same 4.5 people because nobody else plays that game. It's just not the same. Like you gotta transition.
I mean, like
to a new
I've been
mobile.
trying like Valorant and stuff, but I just get my ass handed to me.
I love Valorant. But it'd be fun to get our ass kicked together, right? So
true. It's always more fun to get your ass kicked together.
Yeah.
And to not have some toxic 11-year-old yelling at you.
You know what's fun? I've always loved FPS games, but I didn't know because of my shitty computer and my frames being so low, I used to get motion sickness. And I was like, I never knew why I can't handle this. And then the first time I played an FPS on like a good computer, I'm like, this is like so smooth. This is what the game's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really hyped for Overwatch 2. Like I know that a lot of people are not hyped for it, but the thing with PvP competitive FPS, I know I will never be as good as like the top guys, and I have no real desire to be. I remember I watched a Valorant stream actually just the other day, and they had the aim lab trainer up in between a match where they have the little balls show up on the screen. They click the balls really quick to like test their reflexes and their flick accuracy or whatever. That gave me motion sickness. How fucking fast this kid was! It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So they're mechanically just
not fair.
So far beyond me. So it's never going to be fun for me because there will be a point when there's going to be somebody who cares to like and has the time to download that AimLab trainer and just do that. And it's just that's
I used to do that every morning.
it's not. I'm not about that, man. I'm not about that. Like, are you really good at it, Kevin?
I mean,
what's your
honestly,
rank? What's your rank
Have
in
you gotten
Valorant?
better? Like, have you? That's what really matters. Have you seen improvement?
Valorant, I'm like gold 3, but I'm not like.
That's legit. What the fuck?
No,
Dude,
no, it's not.
I have like sniffed bronze, and that's about it.
Oh no, it's. I remember I was talking to Autumn Rose. She's like, gold. Oh, gold's so easy. Anyways, it's not that I do it as being someone who anything that I pick up, I want to learn the best way to learn the thing, like learn the game. And so any FPS, I just want to warm up with the proper FPS training thing. When it comes to MOBAs, I like to read about the meta. I like to read about what the strategy is, so I understand the win condition. This is just things I like to do with whatever I do. It's kind of sweaty, but I just like doing it.
Winning is fun. Right?
It's totally
Winning
fair,
or at least like competing well in the game makes it fun.
And different strokes for different folks, which is why I think Overwatch 2 doesn't have big hype around it, because a lot of people are more in your camp than in my camp, which is I'd rather get a bunch of buddies together where I'm not competing against somebody who is doing the aim lab training, and we can all just kind of like tackle the same objective in FPS. And I find that really
PvE.
fun. First person shooter PvE, yes.
Yeah, well, that's what Overwatch 2 is bringing to the world. Right?
And they have an RPG element where you're like able to, there's like skill trees for each of the heroes. Right.
All right.
And there's
is that what it is?
Yeah, there's 3. So let's say you're like Soldier 7.
In addition to the PvP stuff, that'll all still be there, I think.
Yes, PvP's still there, but that's technically Overwatch original or 1 or whatever.
Right.
But then the PvE is every hero has 3 skill trees. And as you go, you have like special, XP or whatever that you unlock, and special like bonuses that you get, like quests or whatever, side quests. And then you pick those 3 skill trees. There's 7 tiers for each, and you have to they become.
Blizzard knows how to get you addicted. Holy shit!
I'm so
like they actually nabbed that from Paladins, right?
Dude, I think that'd be so much fun. Get 5 friends together.
You're right though, Kevin. Blizzard really does know how to get us addicted. They
skill trees, stay less.
Code.
That's it. Skill trees.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
That honestly, that in D4 looks unreal. Like. I think Diablo 4, I think Overwatch 2.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be amazing. I
was playing a lot of Diablo 3 on the DS, not the DS, on the Switch when I used to fly.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like D3, like, is it okay on console or is it difficult?
The portability is what's amazing, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. Like I used to, sorry, just when I used to travel for work back in those days, I always had my Switch, had Diablo 3. What was the other my go-to game? The last game I played on the Switch was Animal Crossing, because I got it from my partner because I thought she'd get into it, and she did get into it. But then I'm like, no, you're doing it all wrong.
You micromanaged your gameplay.
When your fishing rod ticks, you click A.
Listen, I love you, but you're having fun the wrong way.
Yes. your plans are gonna. You need to pick your. No, anyways.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's so funny.
So,
all right. Well, with all this talk of new games, do you guys think it's time to test Kevin's knowledge of said games?
I think I'm just gonna call it out. Bathroom break or drink break. If anybody needs it, I'm gonna take a bathroom break. And
I'll show off my loaf. It's out of the oven.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
I'll get one more drink.
Okay, reconvene.
The Pixel Scouters podcast is powered by FanFit Gaming. FanFit Gaming makes gifts gamers love. Whether you're a casual gamer or an esports competitor, FanFit Gaming has an incredible selection of the coolest and most unique gifts for gamers that will make your jaw drop. Head over to fanfitgaming.com and use code PixelScouters for 10% off your first order. But true story though, why do we call it preheating? It's just heating.
You know what? There was a marketing agency that used, before you do the real marketing, you do the preheat marketing. I'm like, you just made this shit up. I graduated marketing. I've never heard of preheat marketing my entire life. Awesome. What is this?
Well, it costs 30% more, and it's 0% more effective.
I've been watching a lot of Jeopardy recently. And I haven't watched The Greatest of All Time, but I ended up buying, and it's on its way, a kid's encyclopedia, because apparently some of the best apparently one of the best Jeopardy players ever. All he did was read kids' encyclopedias because you learn a lot, but you learn a lot in a very easy way. Just ordered one because it looked really good. So,
and you like reading. So yeah.
And so this should be fun.
Okay. So
hey, before we get into this quiz, quick question for you. I heard it on CBC Radio the other day, and I just want to see if you guys get it. What is the most used emoji by millennials?
Ooh.
I'm gonna say the
eggplant.
Guesses, is it the eggplant?
Eggplant. By millennials.
What's a millennial? Are they younger or older?
We're millennials.
We're
Is it a face? Can you tell us that as much? Or
yeah, okay, it's a face.
Okay. So Rob, guess again. No eggplant. It's gonna be. I'm gonna look at my emojis.
Is it the cheating? Tongue? Is it the tongue out smile?
No, it's not. If that's your guess, let me know. I'm gonna wait for Patrick's.
That's my guess.
Okay. What about just a standard happy face? Is that the most used?
No, it's the cry laughing face.
Ah, cry laughing. Like XD. Is it XD? It's
XD's
just
the one with XD.
XD is,
like
is cry with open.
Colon D is big smile. Yes. XD is crying laughing. Yeah.
This is where it shocked me. What emojis do Gen Zs use instead of that one?
Oh.
This one I was like, this is ridiculous.
Is it just a clown?
Yeah, clown emoji.
Is that your guess? It's the alternative. It's like instead of using the cry face emoji, what did they use to convey that same emotion?
The monkeys are usually like the embarrassed face, I feel like.
Or maybe it's the cat face for some reason. I don't know.
That's okay.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say the clown.
Clown. Okay,
I'll go
Patrick.
with the tongue, like colon P.
No, they used a damn skull because it's so funny. I'm dead.
I died laughing.
Goddamn Gen Z!
Yeah,
you're listening out there. God damn you!
It's like smart, but it's so far.
You know what?
Yeah. It's like it's always a few steps too far.
You know what was a few steps too far? Socks and sandals. It's too far.
Socks. Yo, you mean like this?
Oh no! No! Kindly leave.
Yes, those look like 6 socks too.
Those do look like 6 socks.
Yeah.
And those are
fall socks.
Those are flip flops, to be fair.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so I was thinking to give you a little bit of Valorant trivia, but you could veto that and force me to do something else if you want.
I'm down for anything. Like right now, I've blocked out from the screen. I see Isaac Asimov just right here on my screen, and you guys. So
awesome. So Pat, have you talked to him through the rules and what's gonna go down?
Could you do that while I get some more sound effects queued up?
So essentially, what's gonna happen is we're gonna play you sound effects. It could be like 5 to 10 seconds. And then we're going to ask you, what is that? If it's Valorant, like, who's that operator or agent, or rather, what's their, like, gadget? Maybe what's the gun that they're using?
Damn, okay.
And it's going to get pretty intense. We normally don't get people doing very well on these. Although last week we had somebody ace what we thought was the hardest.
Austin was incredible.
We thought it was the hardest thing ever. It was just gun sounds, and he got them all from Rainbow Six Siege. It took him no time. He's just like, oh, that's this, that's that, this is Scorpion. So this is Pat getting.
Well, that'll be what you hear if you have an incorrect answer. The sad trombone, and of course we'll have. Rob does not like the ding. The ding has been stricken.
No.
And this time, you gotta like this one, Rob. This is a great sound, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yo, I had hot chicken wings tonight. I should have saved some for right now.
Yes. Totally. Yeah. What is that YouTube channel called? The one
Hot Wings.
Yeah.
Hot Ones. Yeah.
We're gonna give you a voice line of one of the
agents.
Agents. That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
And we're gonna give you 10 total questions, and I'm gonna keep score over here.
Are they all Valorant, or are they Valorant and mixed games?
We'll see how you do. We might switch it up.
Yeah. We'll see how you do.
Okay.
That's why I was giving you the optic. If you had to choose a second game, would you pick League?
It'd probably be League of Legends, but League of Legends has like 100, 400, like
This is so
many
many.
characters.
It's a little bit harder for me because I don't know all of them either.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Let's make it work.
Okay, here we go. First one. Let's see. Make sure this is loud enough. All right.
Open up the sky!
Oh, Brimstone.
Nice.
Yes,
Brimstone's alt.
Yeah.
Feeling it.
Dude, it's just funny hearing it like that.
Yeah, totally out of context.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like Yi Hondo almost from like Street Fighter.
Totally.
Nice one. Good start. Number 2.
Watch this!
Oh, Jet.
Get out of my way!
Oh.
When she alts, get out of my way. Takes out her daggers.
Nice. Yes. Oops.
Are the dagger ults even any good? Like, I don't get it, man. You still...
The benefit of the dagger alt is that it has perfect accuracy. So you can jump around, fly around. They're just hard to hit. I mean, they do 50 damage hit, but they have perfect aim.
Got it. So if you're a good aimer, you'll have no problem. You can like be on the run and you don't have to crouch and stop moving. Cool.
That's exactly it. Yeah, there's no compensation or anything like that.
Cool.
That's pretty sick. It's actually good to know. I don't really play Jet, so I didn't know that would be the case. Okay, I've been giving you lots of like.
Yeah, I feel like he's got these
noises.
ones.
Maybe I should give you less of the alt ones and maybe just some like, some
voice lines.
Maybe
even.
You know what's so funny? Because I was actually listening to the voice actor of Jet recently stream.
Cool.
Super random.
Did she sound like her character?
She does, but she puts it on with Jet because she's like, "Watch this," but she doesn't know how she talks. Like,
yeah.
So
we worked with the voice actor for Kavira from Rainbow Six Siege, and she's super funky, like super awesome, and she has a lot of voice acting. Kavira is obviously not her only one, but when you listen to her talk, I can't hear Kavira, and then when she voice acts it, it's perfect because it is her, right? And she's so good at it. It's really incredible what voice actors can do. What's the one guy, Pro Z?
Yes.
Pro Z? Have you seen his?
Who's Pro?
I'm gonna look it up while Pat gives you this. I'm gonna just Google it and make sure it's the right guy I'm thinking of.
All right, Pat, give it to me. Let's go.
Okay, here we go.
Yes, it's me. Autographs if we survive, yeah? Relax.
Oh, my boy Phoenix.
Nice. I could literally any voice line I would have chosen there would have been just it's like a freebie, right?
first vowel, I was like, "Yo, it's Phoenix."
Yeah. Yo.
It's because they all have they're all from different parts of the world too, which makes it easier to.
Yeah, I knew this one overall would be a fairly easy go. All right, so that's been 3, by the way. Oh, let's get the...
You're 3 for 3.
3 for 3. Great start.
This is too easy.
And the reason why you have to know what they sound like is because you hear them alt in the game, and I need to know when they're alting.
Okay, Pat, we got to give him like a gadget or an ability.
Oh yeah,
sound
don't worry. We got that stuff queued up here as well.
Do a pistol.
No, see now I have to not do a pistol to throw him off, right?
I feel like... Yeah, this is good. Well,
You can use it. You can do any gun.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Can you play it one more time?
We can do it again. Yeah, we can go it again.
What's with the burst? Hold on. Is it the frenzy? No.
You got it.
Wait, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the frenzy. That's what I was trying to throw you off with. Is it a pistol? Is it not a pistol?
Because it was like single fire frenzy, but no one shoots a frenzy single fire.
Yeah, that's why it was a good one. But originally he had up the bulldog, which is a burst, so I knew you'd get that, and the phantom.
I knew I would have got that.
The phantom, which is silenced.
Yeah.
So
Phantom silence, Valorant's just loud as heck.
I knew you would have got. I knew you would have.
That was a good one because I was like, "What the?"
Okay, I like this. I like where you're going with this, Pat. This is gonna be a tough one.
Okay, here we go. Number 5, I think.
Yep.
Is that the Odin or is the other one? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go with the Odin. What the cheaper one was called. I forget what the other one was called. I'm just going to go with the Odin. It's probably not that. I think it's a cheaper one, but let's go with that one. What did the other one?
You were
the other one called?
Ares.
The Ares. It's the cheap ass gun that like, you know, you make fun of the people who buy those ones. God damn.
Yeah. Like I almost never use the Ares. I almost never use the Odin either. But
I've been popping off with the Bucky lately. I've been getting lucky with the Bucky.
Okay.
lucky with the Bucky.
It's because my aim's not
wait,
good enough.
What about
So it's like I gotta
this
go
one?
shotgun.
Could be
Okay.
even uses this. Honestly, I
I
didn't.
know who
is
uses-
this in the game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who? Okay, you'll have to tell me. Here we go.
Molly!
Ah,
Cool. It's Brimstone's grenade.
Molly!
I didn't know he was gonna say Molly.
I think I would have got it even if he didn't say Molly because it sounds like it's coming out of a tube.
Well done.
A
Well done.
reluctant air horn. I cut it off.
Well done. All right.
All right,
Switch
should
it
we
up.
chuck in another voice?
Switch it up to League, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
you
do
can
that.
even give me footsteps of the Valorant players. I'll know.
Are you kidding me? They make different
Is
footsteps.
that a thing?
Brimstone's like thump 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 thump.
Dude.
I probably wouldn't be able to do it, but they do have different footsteps. Some are
You
heavier
just-
than others.
You just blew my mind. I had no idea. That's the gold one knowledge right there.
Doesn't help my aim though.
I know you're
Okay,
coming,
what
and I
about-
know I won't hit you.
Um,
Does Sova's arrow have different?
that's what I was trying to find.
I can't.
yeah. Go for abilities. I'm down to try abilities too.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say it. Sometimes they don't. I forget.
For your for the alts, they're always going to say something. For your abilities,
Also, they always say something because
Yeah.
the other team has to hear it when they're alting.
Are there streamers that you watch for Valorant to like how did you get good, or were you just awesome at first person shooters?
I wasn't awesome first person. I got into it because I got one of the early beta keys. I was watching Nate Shaw at the time, one of my favorite streamers. He's actually from Scarborough. Is Wardell. I was watching him before he was even big. He's one of the best snipers in the world. He plays for TSM now. He's huge now, but he's like, I don't know if you ever watched Tyler One for League of Legends as a streamer, but he's just one of those guys who's really good at the game, really toxic, but toxic in a funny way. Like he's not rude toxic or like misogynist or right. He's so good at the game. He can't
Handle when people aren't
hates
as
people
good.
who suck. He just hates when people who aren't good.
That's kind of like BSJ or Banana Slam and Jam, I guess, from Dota. He's very similar. He like tilts and he's toxic when people don't know what they're doing and mess up. And I would say Pat is similar in HOTS.
What? I was only half listening because I'm desperately trying to find just the ability sounds isolated, and I'm struggling.
Okay.
But I think I've got one here queued up. Sorry,
Okay.
what? There was a challenge thrown out.
I was saying that I think that we're talking about people that are funny toxic with streamers or games that they play. And I think you get funny toxic. Like you're not misogynist, you're not racist, you're not rude. But you get like tilted when people don't do what they're supposed to do when you're playing HOTS.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I like. Okay. That being said, I don't. I will never type toxic things to people. The only things I'll type to my teammates is supportive,
Instructive.
suggestions of what we should do, or I try my best to not condescendingly mention
This
something
is the
that went wrong,
toxicity.
and it's so hard to do. There's like
Dude.
almost no right way to do it. But I
I've gotten
strongly feel
one
that I need to
ban.
get that information out to them.
Dude. Yeah, I've gotten one chat ban in League of Legends. I've always had like level 5 honor, meaning super supportive and all that. This guy on the other team was just being so toxic and just talking so much shit. And I just said like, "Yo, is everything going on?" Like, it was like, "Is everything okay at home?" I was just like, something like that. Like,
Did you got banned for that?
dude, I got chat banned. I was like, what?
It's amazing.
But I feel like he must have been saying some off-color stuff for you to say that. Like,
Dude, I'm like, this guy, and it probably was true, and that's why I said it. And I was like, that was a moment of weakness. I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
Now your finest moment. We've all been there. We get it.
Can
Yeah.
you spray in League? Is that a thing? Like spray?
Spray?
No, like I feel
Like
like
you can in
Nah.
Valorant?
nah.
No.
So how do you BM in League?
What's BM?
Oh, you have emotes that pop above your guy's character, like your so you
Okay,
kill
yeah,
someone,
there
you
you
can have like a tongue phase at them or some stupid shit like that.
Nice.
I'm above that.
There's things like that in HOTS too. There's like a spray similar to the Valorant spray. You put it on the ground, or like it's the same as the StarCraft spray, really.
Yeah.
Though in StarCraft, you need to like get one of your probe or SCVs or whatever. They're the only things that can do it. So you need to get them over there to like.
That's the ultra salty move.
Yeah. So there's like, I generally don't spray and I don't B-step. B-stepping is when you like click the hearth button a bunch of times and like make this mark across the ground. I don't do this. But when someone else starts it, if I then kill them, they're getting it.
Would you
Like, it's
say?
happening.
Would you say the original is like the Halo teabag?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah.
The original BM. Yes.
Hey, what
The
is
Halo
what does
teabag.
BM stand
And,
for?
but like that never made me
Bad
upset.
manner.
Like I
Bad
always enjoyed it on either end, giving or receiving. It's like
You
this
would.
fucking guy.
You would. I'm gonna get Gobs to clip that.
Great.
Pat loves giving or
I
receiving
flipped that
teabags.
I always enjoyed it on either end, giving or receiving.
Giving or receiving. Either way. All right. I got another one queued up for you here. Let's see how this goes. This is an unvetted sound effect, so who knows?
Initiated.
You did get a voice in there as
Yeah.
well. I didn't know if there would be.
I would have. It's the new character drops a thing. The orb goes around. Oh, Killjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Killjoy?
It
Yes,
is.
Killjoy.
And
Do you
which
know
ability
the
is it?
ability?
It's her ultimate.
Yes.
Yeah, should be her ultimate. It's like
Yeah.
10 seconds
Okay,
until.
yes, it
yeah.
is.
That is. That's why
She
we're.
has a really quiet sound for that, but I guess it doesn't matter because her ultimate immediately informs you that it's happening, no matter where you are. Right?
I think
If you're in it,
everybody's
it's
ultimate.
there.
You have to be in a certain radius, but it's like pretty big.
The same as the footstep.
Yeah, like if
radius.
Raze says like whatever, let's get this party started or whatever she says about the rocket. Yeah, if you're on the other side of the map, you're not gonna hear it. But she also probably can't get it to you in time for it to matter. Probably, maybe,
You'd think.
maybe, probably. You'd think. One would think. All right.
What do you
Let's
think
see
the highest
here.
skill cap Valorant agent is?
I think it's Jet.
Jet. I was
As in like skill ceiling, like sky's the limit if you have the best micro and mechanical skills.
yeah.
If everyone was the best at every single champion, it was like, obviously it's a team game, and so.
Yeah.
But at the
Hard to
end of the
isolate.
day, it's Jets who are really, really good. They're just so hard to play against. Like they're just.
So they can just by the time they're somewhere, they've got that.
It's the movement
wicked-
abilities.
The movement ability is so good. She's so mobile, right?
Combined
the
with
movement
the smoke
abilities,
screen.
it's the smokes. It's like it's just. Yeah, I mean, just
And then the,
and
like
that's
you said, her
why- yeah.
ultimate too.
and that's why you when you especially at our elos when you see Jet, you're like, God damn it! They're probably playing Jet because they saw a streamer play him, and it's like they just suck with Jet.
It's so pretty crazy. When we were speaking to Austin last week, so Austin's like a pretty popular Rainbow Six Siege YouTuber, and he has played competitive Siege as well. He was saying something that's interesting that happens with these games is like companies will nerf characters not because they're better necessarily, but because like really popular streamers will play and main that character, and then everybody else wants to do it, and then that character gets just so much playtime that the company needs to like nerf them.
Oh, dude, I believe that. Yeah, 100%. Like, people will play as soon as a video comes out. Like, for the League of Legends community, there's a couple main things you watch when you see this new like a streamer doing something new with a champion. You play that champion, and it's like when I'm in queue with them, like this person's gonna fucking sell the video. It's gonna try this thing and it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
They're going for this special combo move or whatever they're trying to do, and
But that's so interesting. The thing I love about League of Legends, though, I think just the games that do it well, it's a low learning curve just to play and be kind of good, but it's a very hard mastery ceiling. Like,
right.
And I think those are the games that gamers really love. And I think that even from Smash Bros, that's why Melee was so amazing, because you can play, but like to master the game, it was a massive ceiling. So
yeah,
I find that
and watching the pros play that is like always mind blowing for me.
Yeah. They move like, how do your character
I didn't even know this could happen. Yeah.
So it's funny because I feel like MOBAs struggle with that, and Dota specifically is such a steep learning curve. Like, it's so difficult to pick up. And I would say League is very similar in that sense, because there's so many characters.
Very similar game.
And you have to know all of the characters' abilities, otherwise you're going to get caught, right?
Yeah, but I don't know how Dota has updated their stuff, but for example, League of Legends, they got rid of denying your own CS so that you're not getting punished so hard from other people. Second, all your items are recommended to you based on the other team and what they're building. You just could follow that, and it's actually pretty good.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, they just give you the recommended build, and it was okay before, but now it's really good. And it's like based on how well the other team is doing and which characters they have and all that. So they're trying to minimize that. But again, you have to know every character, right? So
yeah, you have to know, and all the various interactions that go along with it, and the general map strategies, and you got to get in the situations and then make mistakes to know what you did wrong.
I've been playing the game for almost since 2012. This is 9 years. I still haven't played every champion. I still don't even own every champion. It's like
wild.
Yeah, that's wild. When you think about it, right?
All right. Speaking of champions, we've got some voice lines here.
We have 3 more questions. 3 more questions.
See how this goes.
Precision is the difference between a butcher and a surgeon. There is no.
What?
Yeah, is that too difficult?
No. I feel like, because it's one of the most underplayed characters, I think it's Viper.
Where Pat is confirming who it actually is.
It is Camille.
Wait, is this League of Legends or Valorant?
Oh, this is League. We switched it up on you.
Yo,
oh, right. Oh, my bad.
I'm just like, which character is this in Valorant?
Okay. All right. That's a wash. We'll do a different. We've gone to League. Yeah, our bad.
Okay. I just picked the most underplayed champion. I'm like, it sounds like it could be her.
You're right. I do never see Viper. It's true.
Yeah, you're right.
It just gives me the letter that their name starts with. Honestly, it's brutal.
This is kind of cool though. I like this. There's a lot of fucking champions too. So
there's a lot. All right.
Oblivion awaits.
Like, is it Karthus or Nocturne? Some ghost ass champion. Like, what? One more time. Say it one more time.
Yeah. Scroll it back.
Rock solid.
Oops. Ignore that one.
Oblivion awaits.
I don't even know if I'm going to be able to look this up.
First thing I would say is Nocturne, but I think it's Karthus. I'm going to go with that one, Karthus.
I can tell you for sure that it is incorrect. I believe it is Malzahar. I'm even saying
it's
that.
Malzahar? That guy sounds that ghostly? What? This is hard. I like it.
It's hard. It's hard with the visual cue, right?
Yeah, it's hard, and I'm a jungler. You would know which one.
That's another one of his voice lines there.
Damn, I didn't know he sounded like that. It's a mid champ. I don't play mid champ.
I wonder if is it the skin?
No, because you can't hear what the character sounds like unless you play them. And he's a mid champ. I just don't play mid champs, but that's okay.
Oh well, what is your general role?
I play junglers, but I don't know if you can find junglers, then great. But if not, that's okay.
So
we can do that.
So Kevin, so far you're 6 for 8, man. You're doing really well. You've passed officially.
Yeah, so that's nice.
I'll take that. First of all, this is a really This entire podcast or like this has been really fun. Like a lot of fun. You guys have done it. You two are a great dynamic, and you guys have. This was a lot of fun. So
I'm glad you're having fun. We're having fun too. I know Pat is. I see his
yeah.
Having a great time. Big smile.
see his big old smile over there.
All right, I think this is who I want. You might have to ignore the first millisecond as it ends the previous one.
Quest accepted. Wait,
Oh
where
my
are we
boy
going?
Echo.
Yo.
Wait, no, Ezreal.
No, you
Wait.
had it the first time.
Okay. I'm like junk. Yeah.
We
Okay.
play both of these at the same time.
You know, it's funny because. And I thought it was Echo because it sounds like Echo, but when he says quest accepted, I thought Ezreal because Ezreal is like the guy that's always on a quest. But
Do you
Yeah,
know?
it was
Do you
good.
know
It
the
was good.
lore behind League?
the lore's too deep. It
It's
is
too deep?
so deep, and I mean, their animations and videos is phenomenal, similar to Blizzard.
They are really
but
good. yeah.
Everyone's connected. Yeah, and it's like like even Valorant.
The two
There's
Valorant
so many-
videos are awesome. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, they're like they do such a great job.
So
And it just pulls you into that universe, like the League universe, you know.
So I geeked out about I was like really curious about what was going on in some of the Valorant maps. I'm like, what the fuck is happening in the background? And like some of the behind
there's
the
a lot of
glass,
crazy shit, right?
there's like some crazy shit happening. And I was like, all right, YouTube, help me out here. What's the Valorant lore? So I watched the two videos, but they don't really get into the lore. And then there's people that have like done the work for me that tell you about it, and it's all about Radianite and how it's like. Have you done the deep dive into Valorant lore?
I haven't done the deep dive Valorant yet. No.
Okay, so I'll get into it afterwards, like when we end the podcast with you. But I find it interesting. It was fun. Dota's coming out with their own anime on Netflix.
Dude, I heard.
League,
I heard Dota was coming out.
League could smash it if they did something similar, like. Oh my god, right? Like even if it's not a full-on
100%.
animated series, if it's a manga, like just a comic book, holy shit, like that would just fly off the shelves.
It would fly. Yeah, it would fly off the shelves. I mean, I'm a huge anime fan, but yeah, it would crush it.
What are you watching right now?
Is this anime chat time?
And okay, all right, let's finish. Okay, we got one more. We got one more left for the trivia. We'll do anime chat.
Okay, here we go. Hopefully this is a good one.
Faster to battle! Chop, chop! My axe is thirsty.
Is this Olaf or some shit?
Yeah, it is. It's all loud. Well done.
Well done, sir. All right, final tally is 6.5. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 out of 10.
Nice. That sounds
I
better.
gave you a half because you had the right answer and then you changed it. And
on the Echo,
Damn
yeah.
I can't give you a full point. So you spelt your name wrong.
Well, I have a 70% win rate with Echo. Does that count for anything?
Oh shit, dude! Do you really?
It does count for something.
yeah, I do.
Pat was just bragging about a 65% win rate with Phoenix on HOTS. 70%
No, dude,
no joke, dude.
Dude, that's.
I mean, I dominate.
So,
But 70%, that's like it's so much even more domination.
all right.
Dude, I took a screenshot. Yeah. Anyways, let's go. Let's move forward.
No. Let's wrap the official podcast, and then we'll talk about some anime afterwards.
Sounds good.
Okay, awesome. Was there any last-second questions you wanted to tag in here, Rob?
My last question / plug, if you'd like to put it, is where can people find out about your mission with Quest to Conquer Cancer? Or
Best place to go is questtoconquercancer.com. We have a lot of new stuff that's going to be released, so I would recommend following us on Twitter at Quest to Conquer. We couldn't fit Quest to Conquer Cancer, so we had to put Quest to Conquer, Quest number 2 Conquer, or you can follow me at Katron_GG, and you can keep up to speed there.
And we'll make sure all of these links are like available for people. So if you don't have it right now, we'll make sure you get it. So don't sweat.
Scroll down. The links are in the YouTube description, or they're in your podcast description. They're already there.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And if you're more of a professional, my LinkedIn's the best place to keep up to date with the professional side. Twitter is just the place where I just talk about shit all the time. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And we'll make sure all of that stuff's linked. Beauty.
cool.
Kevin,
Love it.
honestly, man, this has been a blast. It was so much fun. Thank you for. I know it's late. You work hard, and you gotta start another day tomorrow. So thanks so much for taking your time and speaking with us today on Pixel Scouters. Patty, wrap us up, man.
You already said it, man. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Rob, for both of them and myself. Thank you for listening, and come on back week for another episode of Pixel Scouters.
Oh, thank you.